Hello everyone, welcome to the 2011 MBA Draft. I'm Dr. Christopher Kays, and with me as always is baking soda guru, Kirk Schuler. Kirk, there's been immense intrigue and speculation leading up to this year's draft, as this year's crop of MBAs is diverse but unproven. Today should bring many surprises as the GW Club select who will lead their franchises into the future.
Much like you've led countless MBAs down a dead-end career path. Now, there are many questions surrounding this year's draft class, as no single MBA has solidified themselves as the top overall pick. There seems to be a lot of potential here. However, with the current job market in flux, it's hard to tell which direction these clubs are going to go.
Well put, Kirk. Now, the Finance Club comes in with the top overall pick for the 4th consecutive year. Now, due to what they describe as problems in the economy due to circumstances beyond their control that the finance industry had absolutely nothing to do with, the Finance Club has really struggled to gain ground in the league for the past couple of years. Let's go to Commissioner Robert Brandt to see who the first overall pick is.
With the first pick in the 2011 MBA Draft, the Finance Club selects Sean Madhavan, Los Angeles, California.
Wow, Chris, it's clear that Madhavan's experience trumped the upside potential of the rest of the group. Now, for those of you who don't know, Madhavan worked on Wall Street for many years. He's a grizzled veteran of the finance world. You got to imagine he can step into a leadership position immediately.
Well, that's a great point, Kirk, but there are also a lot of questions surrounding Madhavan's work ethic. I mean, he's been known to miss a lot. And I mean, a lot of class. I mean, you just have to wonder, are we going to look back at this as an epic draft day bust on par with the Dave Kirkland disaster of '08?
I think we all remember how that turned out. Well, we have correspondent Mark Sanchez standing by with Sean Madhavan to get his reaction to his new home. Mark?
This is Mark Sanchez reporting from the green room, here with Sean Madhavan. Sean, you are the #1 overall pick in the draft. How does this make you feel?
Well, Mark, it hasn't even really sunk in yet. I've dreamed about this day, my whole life, but it's just such an honor to be added to the long list of Indians that have come to the Finance Club before me. I promise I'm going to give it 65 to 80% of my best effort with a standard deviation of 15%.
I got a B in Judd and Dad, so I have a 0% chance of understanding what you just said. Back to you, baking soda guru and leadership extraordinaire.
And so that answers our question of who goes #1. Now this really opens up the draft board for some wild cards. With the Finance Club reaching on Madhavan, it's going to be really interesting to see who else falls, Kirk.
Very true, Chris. Now, next on the clock with the 2nd overall pick is Out for Business. Now, we've heard for weeks rumors that Out for Business has a global MBA in mind. However, they've been very tight-lipped as to who that is. Let's go to Commissioner Brandt for the pick.
With the 2nd pick in the 2011 MBA Draft, Out for Business selects Melissa McLean, Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Wow, Kirk. Wow, Kirk, this is a really interesting pick. Now, McLean's been high on the big board all along for her tangibles. High GPA, high GMAT, decent-sized rack, and great work experience. Out for Business is clearly selecting the best MBA available, Kirk.
I think there's some strategy behind this pick. Now, we're well aware of McLean's credentials. However, she brings a number of intangibles to the table. Most importantly, the ability to persuade male MBAs who are too insecure with their own sexuality to actually attend Out for Business IPOs. And it doesn't hurt that she's a woman, and Out for Business can also pay her less money. Let's go to Mark Sanchez, who's standing by with Melissa McLean. Mark?
This is Mark Sanchez reporting from the green room, here with Melissa McLean. Melissa, this must be a thrill for you. Out for Business clearly coveted you as an asset. What do you think you're going to do to justify such a high draft pick?
Well, I do have an above-average size personality. That should get guys to come to the bar, I guess.
Back to you, K&K.
Fantastic pick. Now, next on the clock is the National Association for Women's MBAs. Exactly. You have to assume that they probably held McLean in really high regard, but with her off the big board, where do you see them going, Kirk?
Well, I think the obvious choice here is uber-feminist Priya Kathpal. Now, as we know, Kathpal has years of experience as a staunch feminista battling for the rights of women all across the world. Some analysts have called her feminism into question, as she does own a pink laptop, a pink cell phone, and a variety of pink accessories. However, you know, with her track record, you got to think this is a great value pick. Let's go to the commissioner to hear who they're taking.
The National Association of Women MBAs trades the third pick in the 2011 MBA Draft to Net Impact. Net Impact is now on the clock.
And a huge and unexpected trade here at the top of the draft. I can't believe it. Namba has swapped first-round picks with Net Impact, Kirk.
You know, sources are currently reporting that Net Impact offered this year's first-round pick as well as last year's first-round pick, Patty Pina. That's a huge haul for Namba, especially if Kathpal is still on the board at number 5.
Well, it looks like the commissioner is back, which means that Net Impact's pick is in.
With the third overall pick in the 2011 MBA Draft, Net Impact selects Mickey Flammenbaum, whereabouts unknown.
Kirk, I've got to be honest, I don't understand this pick at all. Most draft analysts had Flandenbaum as a mid to late second-round pick. Net Impact gave up a lot for this pick, and it really seems like they reached here, Kirk.
Agreed, Chris. I just don't see how Flammenbaum fits in. This could go down as a disastrous pick, mocked for years to come. I mean, Flammenbaum has been described as dangerous, oftentimes unhinged with a me-first attitude. You've got to wonder what Net Impact was thinking.
We're about to find out. Let's go to Mark Sanchez, who's standing by with a Net Impact representative. Mark, what do you got for us?
This is Mark Sanchez, reporting in the green room with Net Impact GM Zane Howard. Zane, there's a lot of confusion with your pick, Mickey Flammenbaum. What was going through your minds in the draft room?
Well, basically, Mark, global warming is real. The polar ice caps are melting, penguins are drowning, and if you can believe it, the Nissan Leaf is actually a popular car these days. Basically, the world's coming to an end, so we just needed somebody to protect ourselves.
Good point. Back to you, Kirk and Case.
Well, if nothing else, Mickey Flannebaum can certainly protect those dorks at Net Impact in the face of what they see as impending and clearly apocalyptic doom. Next on the clock is the GW MBA Follies.
You know, Follies is in an interesting position. You know, we all know they had a great draft last year. However, with such a talentless class leading them in 2010, they've really got to rebuild the comedy factor that was lacking in a number of performances last year.
It's a great point, Kirk. I mean, hopefully we'll never have to see one of those really awkward and talentless dance finales choreographed by Sally Kirk Schiff ever again. Oh. That was awkward.
All right.
But it's going to be really interesting to see where Follies goes with this pick. I mean, it's always nice to have the beautiful and charismatic faces like Mark Dixon. But of course, we can't forget about the Dan Peggers of the world. Back there and working the lights and the sound, the real unsung heroes. Where do you see them going, Kirk?
Well, we're going to find out because the commissioner is in with the pick.
With the fourth pick in the MBA Draft of 2011, Follies selects Boulder, Colorado.
I gotta tell you, Kirk, I think General Manager Carly Kasonic really hit a home run with this pick. Now, Wonderlick is a kid who opted out of the draft a year early, but this is just a perfect fit, Kirk.
You know, and most importantly, he looks a whole lot like Ferris Bueller. I mean, seriously, is somebody playing a joke on us here? Let's go to correspondent Mark Sanchez to find out whether or not Ben Wonderlick really is Ferris Bueller. Mark?
Hi, I'm Ferris Bueller.
And I'm Mark Sanchez. Ben, Folly seems to be a great landing spot for you. What are you going to do?
The question isn't, what are we going to do? The question is, what aren't we going to do?
People are afraid that your humor is quite offensive for Follies. What do you say to these critics like Dean Marat, who say your humor is tasteless and old-fashioned?
A, you can never go too far. And B, if I'm going to get busted, it's not going to be a guy like that.
Back to you, K&K.
Well, Kirk, I think we can all agree that no matter how that draft pick pans out, that kid looks a hell of a lot like Ferris Bueller.
Absolutely. All right, you are, Chris. Well, that rounds out the first half of this year's GW MBA Draft. We're going to take a short commercial break. The 2011 MBA Draft brought to you by Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns, and Ben Bernanke. We'll be right back.